Welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse, and tonight I want to welcome Brian McFadden to the show. Tonight we are going to take a look at the legendary Seattle band Soundgarden. Brian's got a lot of things to share, so we're going to talk to Brian. We want to hear from you in the chat, so let's get started. Let's do it.
Grant is changing the world one track at a time on Grant's Rock Warehouse.
Welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse, and tonight I want to welcome Brian McFadden to the show. Brian, nice to see you. We are going to talk about a little American band from Seattle called Soundgarden, formed in Seattle, Washington in 1984. I mean, when we're talking grunge, if you want to call it grunge, one of the more pivotal bands of that era, founded by Chris Cornell, Kim Thayil, and Hiro Yashimoto on bass. They, were known for blending metal, punk, psychedelic, all kinds of stuff. And they had a very unique sound. And we all know what a great vocalist Chris Cornell was. And by the way, he did start out as the drummer of the band and eventually got pushed up to being the vocalist. But some of their key albums, real quick: Ultra Mega OK from 88, Louder Than Love from 89, Badmotorfinger 1991, with the great track Rusty Cage, ladies and gentlemen, and Superunknown 1994, big album that kind of put them over the map, and that's had Black Hole Sun and Spoon Man. So one of the album that came out for that was Down on the Upside. Band broke up in 1997 but reunited in 2010. And they did put out one more record before Chris Cornell took his own life, and that was King Animal in 2012. So anyway, Brian's here. He's a big Soundgarden fan, and he's brought a lot of things here to share. So, Brian, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, Grant. Doing good, man. Thank you for having me back and talking about Soundgarden.
Yeah, of course.
I'm excited. I haven't been able to talk about it with anybody, really. So, because usually when you say Soundgarden, people are like, "Oh yeah, Soundgarden." It's like, yes, there's an approval. You don't get to talk about it.
Yeah. Well, first of all, how did you get in? Of course, I remember from back in the day, the whole grunge movement. But we all know that Soundgarden, they were a much bigger band back in Seattle than Nirvana was. Nirvana was just kind of a blip on the screen. And Soundgarden was a much bigger band when all these guys started out. And I do remember that it just seems weird that Nirvana that took the center stage when Soundgarden was so big and influential in that neck of the woods. By the time they really caught on and got like where I'm in Central Ohio. We knew Nirvana way more than we knew Soundgarden, but out west they were a much bigger deal. How did you come in contact with Soundgarden? How did you become a fan?
From my local pharmacy, I picked up a Rolling Stone, and they said, "Hey, this could be the next Led Zeppelin." And I looked at it, and I was like, "Soundgarden, huh? I don't know anything about them."
Mm-hmm.
So this was, like you said, around 87, I think, 88.
Mm-hmm. Probably. And it just seems, was it that late, or was it later than that? I'd have to look it up, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But that's how you got turned on to them. So you ended up, what did you first pick up? What was the first record you picked up?
It was Badmotorfinger, and I got it because of the not only the Rusty Cage, but the Jesus Christ pose, and that was a major hit overnight on MTV. So that was Headbangers Ball, and it was an eye-opening experience, especially with all the artistic elements and the noise rock. Plus, it was just heavy. The drums were pummeling.
Mm-hmm.
It was firing on all cylinders. So that song got me into them. And then I had the girl I was dating at the time. She had two records. So she's like, "Oh, you like Soundgarden?" She's like, "I don't listen to these. You want these?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. I'll take whatever you got. I don't have anything, right?" So I got originals, if I can find them. Yeah. She gave me the Ultra Mega OK, but this is a original mint copy. This is mint. And then I ended up finding out all the doom that's on it, all the good doom and and Gloom that's on it, which I love a lot. And then she also gave me this. So she gave me both of these records at the same time. And
So the
I had,
Ultra Omega was on SST, right?
yes, yep. That's SST, and this is Sub Pop.
Okay.
This one's got the Godzilla on it. Got the Godzilla on the label. I don't know if they have a remaster. I don't know if that's still got the Godzilla on it.
Well, I'm sure that this is worth more than that because that's
Oh
like an
yeah,
original pressing, right?
this is original. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that'll be what you want.
So I basically found them right at the beginning of all of everything, and I was already into the Louder Than Love album, which I had a cassette copy of. Somebody made me a copy of it, and of course, you don't have the artwork, you don't have the title track, so I didn't know what any of the songs were. It grabbed me by the throat. It was good. That was something I'd throw on when I actually went to sleep. When I got home from work or whatever, I put that
Mhm.
on. But they have so many like doom and stoner elements to it that didn't make it just a regular rock band or even a metal band. They had a lot of obscure. You're gonna hear that a lot with this, especially with the vocals and the melodies and the tones and just the way that Kim plays the guitar was haunting. Nice haunting strings. I guess I don't know how to describe him because
Right.
he's noise. I've seen him about I don't know 13 or 14 times. I've seen them live, so I've seen them progress as well. Um,
So with Ultra Omega, would you say that that's more of a doom record? How would you classify that?
I think it is, yeah. It's their debut. Um, Flower, definitely. All Your Lies. There's a lot of punk mixed with it. Beyond the Wheel, it's the first side. That is doom. That is just like doom especial. And and as they progressed with their sound, they used more doom elements in their music and the way they wrote, making it very dark.
So, okay. So how, okay. So you've got, okay, Ultra Omega is 1988, but you did have Screaming Life that came out in 87 on Sub Pop.
Yeah.
So they kind of mixed things up. They kind of were on Sub Pop, but then they got an album that came out on um SST, but then like by 1988 they still had another album, an EP Fop that came out on Sub Pop. They kind of bounced around with like labels, and then 89 they got signed with Louder Than Love on A&M. So how was that album compared to like the debut album? It's just 1 year, but
Right.
did you find it to be just carry on from what they had before? How did you view
No,
that second record?
no. Yeah, the Louder Than Love, which I like this one a lot. But the other one this is more punky alternative, I
Okay.
think. There's a lot of punk elements to it. So for speed and high tempo. Um, this one's got like a lot of like I don't know. It's got like a lot of noise filler in it. Interludes going in
Hmm.
between. So
Well, kind of
it
like the first Nirvana album where you'd have basically a pop song and then you'd have Kurt Cobain wailing on distortion and just it'd be more like noise than anything. That's
yeah.
the way I look at it. People rave about that first Nirvana album, but I mean, I think you could have cut that down to an EP. Maybe there's five good songs, the rest of it's kind of noisy, but that's just me.
The sound production between this and this is night and day. So this one's really heavy, really clean. This one's kind of dirty.
Well, they probably didn't have any money. They probably recorded that in just a small,
Right.
I'm not
Small
even sure how
studio.
they recorded it. Yeah.
Yeah. But this one had like a big bombastic leads, the guitars, the tones,
Mhm.
even the drums. Everything was there. This one, there's still the other two are pretty loud, but they've already been. I would say that this band is more drum orientated than it more is either riff driven or even bass. I think it's more drums, but they find a way to fit themselves inside whatever Matt's doing.
Right. Well, Matt, yeah, because Matt
Incredible.
became the permanent drummer in '86. Um, so he was drumming on all that stuff. But didn't Cornell still drum on some of that stuff too, or no?
Yeah, he was, and I know that Hiro Yamamoto was the one that founded the band. Um, and then him and Chris, I guess they were jamming. He said, "Why don't you try singing?" I don't. I vaguely know the story, so I'm talking out of school here. He said, "Why don't you try, why don't you try singing or whatever it was?" Because he was already plucking on guitar and stuff, and
Yeah.
he had, he was showing his ideas. But of course, he's a drummer too. But you want to talk about versatile? Um, I can't
Very
remember the
versatile.
rest of how I can't remember the rest of how that story went, but yeah, they ended up keeping him. Uh, I think even after a failed first show, there's all technical problems. There's always you can't hear yourself,
Hmm.
monitors are dropping, everything else. But he stuck with it, and I guess he got a lot of compliments, not even from the band, but from his peers that said, "Yeah, yeah, he should stick with it." It was a good gig.
Yeah. What
And here we are.
other, what all on Louder Than Love? Anything else on there that sticks out?
Oh yeah,
Key tracks on that record?
oh, big time. Um, This has, like I said, it's more fluid, okay, than the other two. The first one, Screaming Life, is good because it flows, and there's
Hmm.
not really a lot of, I don't know, melancholy and interludes like this one had. But oh yeah, Ugly Truth, Hands All Over, Gun, uh, even Power Trip, Get on the Snake, which people always say he always talks about the snake, but so did Jim Morrison, but I don't know if that's related or not. I've heard it is, I've heard it isn't. I think that's something that's a myth, or
Could
it's a
be. I
legend
don't
now.
know.
Yeah, but yeah, and then Full On Kevin's Mom. So like the whole side one is just loaded on this album. Side two, you flip it, then you got Loud Love, I Awake, No Wrong, No Right, and then they got that Uncovered song, which is a great riff, but it's loud. Uh, Uncovered. It's Heart. It's it's from Little Queen there. Uh,
Oh, the riffs
yeah,
like off the Little Queen.
Love Alive. Love
Oh,
Alive.
Love
That's the
Alive.
song.
Okay. Yeah.
It's the same exact riff. It's the same exact everything until you get to the chorus. But these guys again from Seattle, they were hanging out with Hart and all them guys. So I guess by this time they got their full blessing to go ahead and either make an homage to it or whatever.
Yeah. Well, this album made much more of an impact than that debut because this at least got up to 108 on the charts.
Right.
So it's good.
Yep.
But Badmotorfinger came out in 1991, and this had Jesus Christ, Pose, Outshine, Rusty Cage. It got up to 39 on the Billboard 200, and it eventually went to double platinum. So a logical progression, but they had a year off in between pretty much. How do
Yeah.
you view that record as in their catalog?
I think that's more that's when they got Ben Shepherd in too. And when Ben Shepherd got in playing bass, the whole dynamic of everything that they wrote and how they wrote completely changed. And that guy is just a mad genius. He's just a madman on bass, and he's the one writing a lot of the touchy feely stuff going in and out. Plus, he's big on the doom as well. But
So you think with Badmotorfinger, that's where everything kind of gelled?
I think
Did
that's where it started.
Soundgarden arrive with this record, and so to speak?
Yeah, I would say because this record to me is not that long. It's 30, 34, 36 minutes or something. At least with Badmotorfinger, that you got almost an hour of music.
Right. Well,
And but
that could be a double-edged sword because a lot of these bands, because
right,
we're in 1991, and then we've had the CDs came out in mid 80s, and then all of a sudden the record companies think, oh my God, we need to fill up a whole CD of 70 minutes worth of music. Now, sometimes that's good,
and the only one I can think
sometimes
of
that's
that
bad.
actually they did do that was the Superunknown album, where that thing was just loaded all the way up. And I remember you throw that in, that's a whole journey. That's a really good album.
So do you look at Badmotorfinger as more of a is it more commercial? Do you think Soundgarden got more commercial as they went? And was that good or bad?
No, they slowed down and they got heavier. And it's like I don't know if they were doing the drop D or whatever that was with the,
Yeah, I think they were. Well, there's a
with,
lot of alternate tunings on Superunknown. I know that.
oh, yeah. 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 So, this is a very, this album gelled really well. Just playing it from side one through side two. This is a great album. And, it's got a lot of, highs and lows. It's got a lot of peaks and valleys. It's got a lot of things that are going on with it. But the musicianship, I definitely think got better, especially with Ben.
Yeah.
Ben, he's an absolute animal.
So, okay, like I said, that got 39 on the charts. Hey, it's more success. But then I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe you know more about this, but Badmotorfinger came out in 91. Superunknown came out in 1994. Um,
Yep.
why was there such a big break in between? Well, I do want to say that we did have we did have an EP that came out in 1990, Loudest Love, that came out on A&M, and I'm not exactly sure what's on there. And they did
I
have a
haven't heard of it.
Japanese
I got Louder
only.
Than Live. I got Louder Than Live, and this was, you can only get this from the band.
Okay. Oh yeah. What? Oh yeah. Live at the
And it,
Whiskey.
and it came with there's a VHS for this. So the VHS you can watch, and then I got the CD. But this came in a big, this thing was a monstrosity. You had to get it from the band. The band gave it to this specific record place, this record guy, and I don't even know how I found him. He said that he had it for me, and it came in a big cardboard, right?
Mhm.
It looked stupid for a CD. It was a big thing of cardboard. It was all wrapped around with this sticker on it, and then it had duct tape all the way around it. That's how they sealed it, with duct tape. It was the strangest thing I've ever seen.
But that
But
was just basically a promo, right? Is
it
that
was
what it
completely
was?
from, yeah. I wish I had kept the container, the cardboard, but the cardboard was mangled. I don't know if that was like that on purpose or just from hand me down, hand me down,
That's
hand
what
me
was
down by the
that.
time I got it.
That's what made it worth money was that cardboard.
Oh, I got rid of it because the CD, every time I touched it, it would always pop out, and I was afraid it would get scratched. And I was like, I'll probably never find that again. So I put it in a case like this,
Hmm.
and have no idea what I did with the
Yeah, it's
other.
fine.
With
It's
that,
just
should
the
have kept it,
music.
but
The music's the only thing that matters.
no, I know. But oh man, what a monstrosity that thing was! It was just even ugly to look at it.
Sorry, Badmotorfinger 1991. They had a break. Superunknown came in 1994. This is considered the breakthrough album. This debuted at
Five-time
number
Grammy.
one.
Yep. And the production again with Andino,
Hmm.
again, with Jack Andino. He went on to produce High on Fire, which is another one of my favorite bands. So he came from that and he went into High on Fire. So he's jumping right into the Doom. So they had the right producer, had the right guy on board.
So, what's your thoughts on Superunknown?
Oh, it's a flawless album. I think everything about
Do
it's
you think that's her masterpiece?
I call it a masterpiece. It's not the one I grab for all the time, but it's the one I absolutely had on hand no matter where I was. If I was on an airplane, if I was in a truck, if I was in a car, if I was on a boat, if I was in a basement, if I was outside, it was always around.
Mm-hmm. That was a big record.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Very impactful and very, again, another like a mood swing journey, So you had like the heavies, and you got the lights, and you got some of the, I don't know, I wouldn't even call them ballads, but the lighter ones. But there's a lot of sludge, and there's a lot of doom on it, especially with
Oh, this has got Black Hole Sun and Spoon Man. Those are the
well,
two
even
big
Limo,
songs.
right? Fresh Chendrils, 4th of July, like Suicide. There's a lot of just heavy, heavy stuff on it that completely appealed to me, and
Hmm.
I was happy with that when I bought that when it came out, like the day it came out
I
after
had
release.
well, I wish I knew what happened to it. Is it
Oh,
Super Unknown or maybe it was down on the upside? I had the original vinyl pressing of it. God, I can't remember.
Well, the Down on the Upside came out 2 weeks before the CD did.
That's what
And
I
that's
had.
when I
I
bought
had
this.
an original pressing of that.
Yeah, it's worth a lot of money now. In fact,
Yeah, I don't know what happened
I
to
had
it.
an original Superunknown, right, with the got the snow on the bottom.
Right.
The tree. Are you talking this EP?
Yes. Well, yeah, that's 1995. Songs from the Super Unknown,
Unknown,
1995.
yeah, with Jerry Garcia's finger, and that's a great trippy song. This is
Yeah,
just
but a lot of those EPs had a lot of things that weren't released on the records, correct?
correct. Yeah, this has got
Yeah,
5 songs on it, but you can get these on some of these other CDs, uh, the mini EPs or the mini
yeah,
whatever they call it, the mini hits, the mini singles.
right. So, what was I going to ask? So, Super Unknown, Spoon Man,
Yep.
Black Hole Sun, more doomy, their masterpiece, great stuff. Is that an original pressing? Do you have an original pressing of that? Or is that a reissue?
No, this is a reissue, and I actually traded my. I had the clear, right? Mine
Yeah.
was like bottle clear, and I
Hmm.
traded it, and it had like the white that was on the bottom. I
Hmm.
traded it so I could get like other records, but I got a good deal. I got $400 for it, and then I was able to
Holy
upgrade
crap.
my
400
record. Yeah,
bucks.
for one record, right?
Well, I
One
believe
record.
it.
Now, what I ended up getting was I got the remastered, remixed version, and it sounds 10 times better than the version I sold. It sounds way better, and
I
that's a
can't
$40
imagine.
record.
Why was it remixed?
I I think an anniversary year. I think it's a 25th anniversary or
Can't
whatever.
imagine it would need remixed, but whatever.
Oh yeah, I know. It's a perfect album, and there's no skippers on it. And even with all the hits, I understand you hear Spoon Man, you hear the day I tried to live, you hear all these songs on the radio, and I tell you what, every time they come around, Black Hole Sun, any of that, I leave them on. I never skip anything. I
Never
never
get
turn.
tired of it. Yeah, I get it. Well, a lot of this stuff, the real great material from bands, if it is truly a classic or timeless, whatever, however you want to put it,
Right.
you can listen to those songs over and over and never get tired of it.
It's
Um,
still whole now. It's still relevant now, and it's gonna be going on 30 years soon.
it'll, eh, yeah, well, 94, we're there already.
There, right? Yeah, that's right.
All
2004.
right. So 1996, again, we've got 2-year hiatus, Down on the Upside, final album before their initial breakup. And it's got, well, a couple of tracks, Pretty Noose and Burden in My Hand. What's your thoughts on that one, Brian?
I love this album, and I love everything about this album. And I grabbed this album a lot more than I grabbed any of the others because this thing offers so much more different variety than, no, not to say the same old same, but it gives a different variety. There's even like a little bit of prog in this one with Applebite, in my opinion. But the production, I think, is, again, it's superb. Um, it was done by Adam Casper, the engineer. But yeah, Rhinosaur, Zero Chance, Dusty, Ty Cobb, Blow Up the Outside World, Burden in My Hand, Applebite. I love that one. Never the Machine Forever, Tighter, Tighter. Switch Opens, Overfloater. I just think this thing it's like bookends to this one. Like you could listen to
So
this
like
all the way
part one
through.
and part two,
You could put this one on, and yeah, and then you got like a full complete, experience going on.
same type of production,
I would
everything
say very
just
similar, yeah. And then I would say that more highlights are on the Down on the Upside than there are on the Super Unknown, where Super Unknown just seems like it's a straight up in your face rock album. You
mm.
know?
Well, anyway, they broke up in 97. The next album that came out, they got back together. They released King Animal in 2012.
Yeah.
And one of the key tracks I'd say on here, Been Away Too Long. There's the prop. And then I look at that, it always surprises me. I don't have a problem with the album cover, but for some reason, it just doesn't look like a Soundgarden album to
Yeah.
me. For
No,
some
I agree. It doesn't even sound to me. It doesn't even sound like a Soundgarden record. It sounds like a continuation of this. That's
Oh,
what it sounds like
so
to
it
me.
sounds like a Chris Cornell solo
Sounds like
album.
a Chris Cornell album, right? And
Oh,
I think he did do a lot with this, but so did Ben. I think Ben was just helping him write it. But you know what? I bought this in 2012 when it came out,
mhm,
and actually, the concert shirt I'm wearing now, this is from the last concert I saw him. This is 2011.
mhm.
It took me 10 years. It took me 10 years to open this because I already had the CD.
Yeah, I wouldn't
So
even
I
open it.
would just hold it on to it, being like, well, I'll open it when I decide if I'm gonna keep it or not. Right? I'm keeping it.
Yeah, I wouldn't even open it.
Yeah, it's good. There's some weird stuff on it. In my opinion, where it's like astrological. It's way out there in space, and it's nothing grounded, rooted. Like there's Earth, and you know what I mean, like the elements. This
Yeah.
thing is all astral. You know,
So in other words, you wouldn't recommend for someone to start out with that.
you could, you could. There's some good hits on it, like non-state actor. Love that one. Been away too long. It's a good opener. Very strong. Bones of Birds. Again, it starts getting a little lighter, a little more. I don't know.
Well, you can't be the same. They've been together for a long time. They probably their style changed a little bit.
Like Crooked Steps. Yeah, this thing well, of course they've been gone for a very long time. So to have them come back and have something like this, it was refreshing where it's not just something heavy and thrown in your face. Like they took some time to, calm down some of the melodies and maybe even some of the tones. But
So the
this
whole
one,
goal, well, anyway, so the whole goal with this is if you don't know Soundgarden and you're new to the band, this is really just about turning you on to the band and maybe checking something out. So, Brian, so anybody that's new to this band and not
yep.
familiar with it, what would you recommend for someone to start out? Would you recommend uh one of the comps? They've got like three different compilations, or would you say they don't have like a huge catalog? So would you just have them start out with the studio albums? What would you
Kind of a
recommend?
phantasm, but this is like basically greatest hits with some live and demo tracks on it. But basically, this is the greatest hits out. It's two CD and a DVD, or you can buy the record like I did. It's the full record with two CD and the DVD. You can buy that.
Hmm.
That's like $100. There's another box set that they came out with, and um, because the band was broken up, I think this is after Chris had passed,
Hmm.
and they were fighting. The band was fighting with his wife over the rights and stuff. They had another one. It was $380, and it was all the like the B sides of stuff
Echo of
that was never
Miles,
released.
Scattered Tracks, 2014 had rarities and unreleased tracks, I think.
That sounds about 2014. That sounds about
Yeah.
right. And I couldn't do it. To me it wasn't officially licensed. And again, with the talk about politics aside, but you got to pick your battles with your money. You vote with your wallet. And I just didn't think that the band would be treated fairly if they didn't get the money and she got the money. You understand?
Yeah, I
Now
understand.
that they've reconciled, that's all over with now, thank God. But they're supposed to come out with another album. In fact, they just released one called Suffocate 6 days ago. It's a live album, and it starts out with Into the Void, which is on this live record right here. Which this is on YouTube as well if you wanted to listen to it. Oh, probably.
Probably a lot of these you could probably stream, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, live at the Palladium in Hollywood, October 6th, 1991, and this one opens up with Into the Void, which is the whole reason why I bought it because it's 1991. It's still Badmotorfinger, so
Yeah.
I have all these live concerts, and it's all from the Badmotorfinger era. So this one's like in Germany. See that?
Yeah.
And then I got
So
the
that was only
Lollapalooza.
released as a German import, Lollapalooza.
Yeah, Lollapalooza
So are those
92.
boots or what?
Those are boots, but they're
Okay.
official boots. This one's from Italy, and like I said, this other one's from Germany. Um, I can't remember if it's the same set list. but it's out of order. Yeah, it's the same set list, just out of order. So it's not like you're getting two direct
Anything.
copies.
Yeah.
But
So if you're
again,
gonna Brian, if you're gonna start out with the studio album, which studio album would you start someone out with?
oh, you got to start with the Superunknown, and then Badmotorfinger. Louder Than Love has a lot of just great hits on it. That's a really good party album, and those three's for sure. A lot of people, I don't even know if they're getting back into the punk or if the younger generation's getting into punk. But if you like punk, buy the first two. Get the Ultra Mega OK and get Screaming Life EP.
Yeah.
There's a lot of just a lot of chaos on both of them.
So I guess it just depends upon what you want to start with. So I know, or there's no bad Soundgarden, is what you're saying.
Correct. In my opinion, yeah. There is no bad Soundgarden.
So do you have anything else you can share with the class? Any other cool releases?
With the class. Let's see. Well, there's Live from the Artist Den, which there's a Blu-ray that you can get for this. It's like $12 or $10. You can get it Amazon. This is 4 records. You can get a 3-record set. This is a 4-record set. I don't know what the difference between the two or why you would even offer 2 different kinds, but this one's basically the greatest hits with the greatest setup, and then the production and everything about this incomparable to all these other live CDs that I have.
Okay.
I also have the i5, which that's an official. That's not a boot. That is a fantastic album, but it's greatest hit.
That came out like 2011. No, is that live on the i5?
Yes.
Yeah, like 2011 came out on A&M.
Yes, it is A&M. Of course, everything's a big poster, and you can't find it. Okay, here.
Yeah, I've never seen one.
Oh, there it is. It's right there.
I've never seen one of those in real life.
Yeah, so they give you the dates and they give you where, but yeah, this is like January 2011. 2011. So it's basically the same tour that I saw. And when I saw them, they didn't play any of the King Animal stuff. They didn't play any of that. With this Live at the Artist Den, they play the King Animal stuff on that, which is fantastic. It's just, I love watching it. And some of the songs on there are just really haunting.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. This is like a good 2.5 hours, if not pushing almost 3-hour concert.
So what you got? Anything else to share?
Not really, but they were putting out like little mini singles. Like I was telling you, this one happens to have like 4 songs on it, just like I showed you that other one.
Yeah, that's like an import. Those are a lot of, and they were like those in those mini CD jewel cases, right? The thin ones.
This one's from UK.
Yeah, I've got some Lemonheads ones that are like that.
Yeah. Oh, Lemonheads, they're from my neighborhood.
Yeah, Lemonheads put out a lot of singles like overseas. Well, there was a lot of bands during that era, the early 90s and stuff, put out a lot of singles in the UK, you know.
Yeah. I got a test pressing of a 45. It just says test of Luca. I got that. They wrote that.
Oh, the cover of Luca, like by
I live on the 2nd floor. I think Lisa Loeb did it.
What is it, like a 45?
Yeah, the 45 test. It's worth like, I don't know, $150 or something.
Wow. There's not many of those floating around.
No, they don't even really play. They used to play all the time. You don't see them anymore, really.
I don't know. I forget where Evan Dando lives somewhere. He was out on tour, but I think he pretty much just lives off his residuals off Lemonheads and doesn't really have to do much.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Well, think about it. They were pretty big in the 90s, so probably
they were on that Kiss compilation. They did the Kiss covers.
Mm-hmm.
They were on that. They did Plastic Acid.
All right. Well, I guess we can wrap this dog up. So we're basically just trying to turn you on to Soundgarden. So you could go, you see what Brian's got, lots of
Yeah.
stuff out there, but man, a lot of that stuff, whenever I go through the used bins, I never see any of it. Look,
This
there
is
you
one
go.
of my favorite albums, and I love it on a rainy day. I love it on a snowy day. I love it when you're depressed. It gets you right out of it. It snaps you right out. That's the one I play a lot. But like I said, with this Down on the Upside, there's so much going on with this album,
Mhm.
from head to toe. Right? There's just so much going on that there's something for everyone on this album, even if you're not a big hardcore fan.
So there's something for anybody. So
There's
let us know in the comments what's your thoughts on Soundgarden. Do you have any of their records? Do you like Soundgarden? Do you not know about Soundgarden? Let us know down here. We will check the comments, and it's just about turning you on to stuff. So Brian, you got anything else before we wrap it up?
No, that's it. I don't have any posters. I don't have anything else loose. I don't have any autographs. I don't have anything like that hanging around anymore.
All right. Well, it is what it is. All right, Brian, thanks for doing this. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Please give a like and leave a comment. What's next in the warehouse? There's always something coming up. Either here on the Contrarians, there's always something coming up. So leave a comment. We'll see you on the next one. All right, Brian, thank you. We'll see you.